start with the blood glucose homeostasis. So in the carbohydrate metabolism, this is given in your syllabus. So blood glucose homeostasis, this is very important also. So blood glucose homeostasis means it is the regulation of blood glucose level. Regulation of glucose level in the blood is called blood glucose homeostasis. So what is the significance of this blood glucose homeostasis? If you see, a continuous supply of glucose is necessary as a source of energy, especially for nervous system, means brain and the erythrocytes, RBC. So RBC and brain both are mainly dependent on energy for their activities. So they need glucose as energy source. So there should be a continuous supply. If glucose is not provided to this brain, so brain may not function at its maximum level. So should be a continuous supply of glucose. The hypoglycemia can lead to brain dysfunction. Hypoglycemia means decrease in blood concentration, decrease in blood glucose concentration. Decrease in blood glucose concentration is called hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia can lead to brain dysfunction, can also lead to coma and death. So there should be a continuous supply of glucose to the brain. Then glucose is also needed for maintaining the levels of intermediates of TCA cycle. Glucose is also needed for maintaining the levels of intermediates of TCA cycle. Levels of intermediates of TCA cycle. It is also actively taken up by the fetus during pregnancy. It is also actively taken up by the fetus during pregnancy. So glucose is taken up by the fetus during the pregnancy. So in that case, the glucose requirement is more in case of pregnancy by the pregnant mother. So that is the importance of blood glucose homeostasis maintenance. So brain and RBC, they need continuous supply of glucose. So glucose should be continuously provided in the body. So how the glucose comes in the blood? From the diet what we eat. The carbohydrate diet which contains this starch, glycogen, then inulin, glucose, maltose, fructose, lactose, fruit juices, all these things, they contain this lot of carbohydrates, and from the digestion of these carbohydrates we get simple monosaccharides called glucose, galactose, fructose. All these things we have seen under the digestion topic. So then once the digestion is over, carbohydrate digestion, it is absorbed from the small intestine and enters into the portal circulation, reaches the liver. This is what we have studied there. Okay, so like this, from the carbohydrate diet after digestion we will be getting monosaccharides. Now this is converted to simple monosaccharides like glucose, fructose. So they will be absorbing into the blood. So likewise the glucose is entering into the body. So this glucose is utilized by the cells for various activities, because this is the energy that is supplying energy for various cells in the body. So I say glucose as a petrol to our body. Glucose is like petrol to our body. So when you put the petrol in your bike, then only the bike will start. Correct? So without the petrol, bike will not move. Similarly, your body petrol is glucose. So glucose, when you give this glucose to the body, glucose is utilized in the body by glycolysis, a metabolism called glycolysis. Then citric acid cycle is the oxidation for glucose, is the pathway for oxidation of glucose. Glycolysis and citric acid cycle, these two are called as oxidation pathways for the glucose. So what they do, through this mechanism in the body cells utilize this glucose and releases the energy in the form of ATP. So this is how energy comes from glucose. So glucose like petrol. So once the glucose is over, bike will not start. Similarly, petrol is over, bike will not start. Similarly, blood glucose is also depleting, means decreasing, means becoming hypoglycemia. In that case, body cells will not function properly because they don't have the petrol glucose, right? Okay, this petrol I just gave you as an example. Okay, now if you see the blood glucose levels, normal blood glucose level in the fasting condition means fasting blood glucose. It is called fasting blood glucose. It is also called as FBS means fasting blood sugar. FBS means fasting blood sugar. Its concentration is about 60 to 100 milligrams per deciliter. Its concentration is 60 to 100 milligrams per deciliter. So the normal range of blood glucose in fasting condition is 60 to 100 milligrams per deciliter. That is written as 60 to 100 mg per dl. dl means deciliter. So 18 milligrams per deciliter is equal to 1 millimoles per liter. So there is another conversion unit and the expression unit for blood glucose, that is millimoles per liter. Okay. So forget about this millimoles per liter. In India, we express the concentration of blood glucose in milligrams per deciliter. So fasting blood glucose or FBS concentration normal range is 60 to 100 milligrams per deciliter. Normal means this is the level should be present in a healthy individual. Okay, so the FBS value is 60 to 100 milligrams per deciliter. So usually it does not exceed in 150 milligrams per deciliter. Normally in healthy individuals this blood glucose concentration will not increase more than 150 milligrams per deciliter. More than 150 milligrams per deciliter. So if the glucose concentration is exceeding more than 180 milligrams per deciliter, then what will happen? The glucose will start excreting in urine. Glucose will start excreting in urine, and that condition is called glycosuria. And if the blood glucose concentration is less than 60 milligrams per deciliter, that is called hypoglycemia. So renal threshold value is there, one renal threshold value for glucose, that is 180 milligrams per deciliter. So if the blood glucose concentration is greater than 180 milligrams per deciliter, after that these renal tubular cells, they will not be able to filter this glucose. So as a result, what will happen? The blood glucose will be excreted by the kidneys. So it leads to the condition called glycosuria. So TMG, tubular maxima for glucose, is about 350 milligrams per minute. TMG means tubular maxima for glucose, that value is about 350 milligrams per minute. 18 grams of free glucose is present in the circulation, which is sufficient for 1 hour. Normally in our blood circulation about 18 milligrams of free glucose is present, which can meet the body needs for 1 hour. Okay, so this you should remember, 18 milligrams of free glucose is present in the circulation, which is sufficient for 1 hour. So now you have understood that glucose is like petrol to our body. It gives energy to the body by undergoing oxidation in glycolysis and citric acid cycle. So if the glucose concentration is less, brain and RBC will not function properly. You know what will happen if the brain will not function properly? They may lead to coma and they may die also. Okay. So RBC will not also function properly. They will not carry the gases. They will not do their functions normally. So blood glucose maintenance in the body is very, very important. Normal fasting blood glucose is 60 to 100 milligrams per deciliter. Renal threshold for glucose is 180 milligrams per deciliter. Tubular maxima for glucose is 350 milligrams per minute. So these are the points which you should remember. So by gluconeogenesis is a pathway through which the glucose is synthesized from non-carbohydrate sources. So by gluconeogenesis, about 180 to 220 grams of glucose may be synthesized depending on the requirement of the body. So this gluconeogenesis, what will happen? So this gluconeogenesis supplies the glucose from non-carbohydrate sources in the body. Gluconeogenesis. Through this gluconeogenesis, about 180 to 220 grams of glucose is entering into the circulation. So this also meets the body requirements. So in case of fasting condition, let's say we take food daily 3 times usually, right? Morning, afternoon, and in the evening or in the night. So daily 3 times we take the food. So when you take the food, the food undergoes digestion process and absorption will take place. So the glucose will come through the diet. So the glucose that is absorbed after digestion of the food can help for 1 to 2 hours maximum, or 3 to 4 hours. So after 3 to 4 hours, what will happen? If you don't eat food, the body should get glucose. So how the glucose comes in the body? Because after 4 hours, complete glucose is exhausted. So in that case, gluconeogenesis supplies the glucose into the blood circulation during that period of time. So gluconeogenesis is synthesis of glucose from non-carbohydrate sources. Here, to regulate this blood glucose in the body, we have 2 types of hormones called hypoglycemic hormone and hyperglycemic hormones. Hypoglycemic hormone and hyperglycemic hormones. So hypoglycemic hormone, if you see, insulin is called hypoglycemic hormone. Hyperglycemic hormone are examples, are not examples. Hyperglycemic hormones are glucagon, epinephrine, cortisol, growth hormone. So hypoglycemic hormone means insulin, hyperglycemic hormone means glucagon, epinephrine, cortisol, growth hormone. I will tell you what is hypoglycemic hormone. Hypoglycemic hormone is insulin. Insulin is produced in the body in response to the high glucose concentration in the blood. Insulin is produced in the body in response to the high glucose concentration. So this insulin, what it will do? It will clears the glucose from the blood. So as a result, blood glucose concentration decreases. That is why this is called as hypoglycemic hormone. Hypoglycemic means decreased glucose concentration. Hyperglycemic means increased glucose concentration. So hyperglycemic hormones, we have glucagon, epinephrine, cortisol, growth hormone. We have glucagon, epinephrine, cortisol, growth hormone. So hyperglycemic hormones, what they do? Hyperglycemic hormones, they are produced in response to the decreased blood glucose concentration. They are produced in the body in response to the decreased blood glucose concentration. After the action of insulin, what will happen? The glucose level falls down below the normal range of the blood glucose concentration. So to again bring up the glucose concentration to the normal range, hyperglycemic hormones are produced. These hyperglycemic hormones like glucagon, epinephrine, cortisol, growth hormone, these are all responsible for the increase of blood glucose concentration. And they bring the decreased blood glucose concentration to the decreased blood glucose concentration to the increased normal range to the decreased blood glucose concentration. They will bring it to the normal concentration by increasing the blood glucose concentration.